So, Kyle, does that clarify what was going on with the 11 today for you at all?
No. Who goes into the playoffs saying, I want to get 20 points in the first race? I've never heard anything like that in all the history of when we've had playoffs. I just want to get 20 points. I'm going to ride back here. So I'm more confused now than I was before.
NASCAR fans. The first round of the 2024 playoffs just popped off at Atlanta, and man, was it a wild ride. From engine problems to shocking crashes, the Quaker State 400 at Atlanta Motor Speedway was straight up wild, and leading the charge of confusion in strategy is none other than Denny Hamlin. Yeah, our guy Denny stirred the pot with some post-race comments that got everyone confused. Even Kyle Petty couldn't wrap his head around it and shared his opinion on it. And then we had Kyle Larson crashing out early. Talk about a disaster start to his playoff run. But Joey Logano? He's already punching his ticket to the next round with a killer overtime win. So, what's the deal with Hamlin's strategy? Can Larson bounce back from this wreck? And is Logano about to become the guy to beat in these playoffs? Stick around because we're breaking it all down. The good, the bad, and the downright confusing. Let's dive in. Alright, let's start with Denny Hamlin. Man, this guy had a weekend to forget. Engine issues in qualifying? Yeah. That put him starting way back, not exactly ideal for a playoff race. A concerned Denny Hamlin stated, "It's just who knows what can happen," before the playoffs kicked off in Atlanta. After all, the round of 16 races are an eclectic mixture of a drafting track, a road course, and a short track. And the first race axed a bit of Hamlin's championship hopes already. Over his 19-year-long Cup Series career, Hamlin never saw the glimmer of a Cup Series championship trophy. The hopes look bleak this time as well. But here's where things get weird. Instead of charging up the field, Hamlin was just cruising around trying to secure 20 points.
If we know how the race plays out, then I could tell you, whether it's the right strategy. Obviously, it didn't work considering we got in that last wreck. My goal was to try to get 20 points in the day, and the way to do that is finish kind of in the mid-teens. My record on super speedways has been atrocious. Next gen, I've gotten caught up in everyone else's wreck possible, so I just tried to finish. I was able to finish, but certainly not with the points that I was hoping for.
Like, wait, what? 20 points in the first playoff race? Kyle Petty was straight up confused. And honestly, so was everyone. Petty went off on Hamlin after the race, saying, "Who goes into the playoffs aiming for 20 points in the first race? Never heard anything like that."
No. Who goes into the playoffs saying, I want to get 20 points in the first race? I've never heard anything like that in all the history of when we've had playoffs. I just want to get 20 points. I'm going to ride back here. So I'm more confused now than I was before I heard him speak.
What a strange day it was for Denny Hamlin and the 11 team. And next week, Hamlin and the entire Cup Series field will be at Watkins Glen for race number 2 of the playoffs.
And you know what? He's got a point. You'd think Hamlin would be gunning for the win, but nah. He was playing it safe, trying to stay out of trouble. Too bad that strategy backfired in the worst way possible. On the last lap, Denny got caught in a wreck, finishing 24 and scoring, well, not much. Fans were just as confused too. The social media was flooded with comments like, "Bro just don't got what it takes." Hate agreeing with Kyle Petty, but what he said was true. Yikes. Hamlin's gonna have to bounce back from this one big time. Let's circle back to Kyle Petty because he didn't just go off on Hamlin. Petty was laying it down on the overall performance of some drivers, and fans were eating it up. But was Petty really biased? Or did he have a point?
Be in the fast lane by subscribing to our channel. Stay updated on all the latest NASCAR news and driver stories.
Looking at Hamlin's strategy, a lot of fans were siding with Petty's analysis. It's like, why go into the playoffs with a mindset like that? It's the freaking playoffs, man. And on top of that, Toyota Racing Development has been messing things up for Hamlin lately. Now let's talk about Kyle Larson. This guy came into the playoffs sitting pretty, but all that came crashing down, literally. On lap 57, Larson was battling for the lead when out of nowhere, his number 5 car snapped loose. Dude slammed into the wall, and then Chase Briscoe came flying in, hitting Larson's car like a missile. It was game over for both of them. Larson, who was expected to be a heavy hitter in the playoffs, ended up with a 37th place finish.
Back end comes around, and then it went to the right. Now it appears to me, who hit him? Who was that got him? That was Briscoe. 2 playoff drivers. So that's one of 2 things. So watch this thing. The back end starts around first, and when it starts around, he overcorrects it. And that is that is very easy to do in this race car. Just listen.
So he mentions whether he blows a tire. I was wondering right front, but right there, it's clear it gets loose. Kyle Larson knows that as well. So I wonder if he's wondering if the right rear tire started to go down, which is what made the car loose. Clear understanding that it was the back first and then it turns right.
Man, talk about a nightmare start to the postseason. He had a nice cushion of points coming in, but now he's only 15 points above the elimination line. Pressure's on, Kyle. And get this, Larson was just as shocked by the crash as the rest of us.
I mean, just looking at it, it looks like I just get loose midway through the corner and overcorrect. So, yeah, it just happened really fast. Hard tire, hard surface, just kind of got away from me. So that was super weird.
If Kyle Larson is surprised by what his car's doing, you know it was a bad wreck. Now, he's got to crush it at Watkins Glen and Bristol just to stay alive in this playoff battle. But hey, not everyone had a rough day. Joey Logano came through in the clutch, snatching the win in overtime after getting a solid push from his Penske teammate Ryan Blaney. Logano was sitting 9th in the standings before this race, but now he's punched his ticket to the round of 12. Talk about stepping up when it matters. This was only Logano's second win of the season, and it couldn't have come at a better time.
Incredible execution from the team. It's when it's playoff time, it's our time. That's what I said. We got a great Auto Trader Mustang. She was fast all day. We had my teammate Blaney behind me. It really helped out in that last lap to be able to make sure a Penske car won. And it's a good day for all the Penske cars. I think they got a lot of stage points as well. So
he even said, "We always find ourselves towards the front on super speedways, and it was awesome to finally capitalize." The man was hyped, and rightfully so. Now, he can head into Watkins Glen and Bristol without sweating the cut line. All right, let's break down the winners and those who got caught in this chaotic race. Joey Logano, obviously, he's the big winner, secured his spot in the next round, and he's got momentum heading into some tricky tracks. Christopher Bell had 2 pit road violations, but guess what? He still finished 4th. That's what you call bouncing back. He's looking strong going into the next few races, but Kyle Larson, we've talked about this. Larson's early crash was a killer for his playoff hopes, and now he's got to grind hard just to stay in the game. Also, Chase Briscoe had a rough day, getting caught up in Larson's wreck. Now he's sitting at the bottom of the playoff standings, and he's gonna need a miracle, or another win, to move on to the next round. Adding to the list of veterans crashing out was Martin Truex Jr. His final NASCAR season just isn't going as he would have hoped. MTJ now has 2 back-to-back DNFs. His teammate Denny Hamlin did not start his campaign on a good note either. Hamlin finished 24th. Overall, the playoff opener wasn't a good day for Joe Gibbs Racing. Even Ty Gibbs in the end joined the list of disappointments. Thankfully, Christopher Bell stayed out of the mess. Well, almost did. So, where do we go from here? Well, Watkins Glen is up next, and that road course is going to test everyone's patience and skill. Denny Hamlin better come with a better strategy than let's get 20 points, and Kyle Larson is in desperate need of redemption. Joey Logano? He's chilling for now, but you know he's going to stay aggressive and try to keep building that momentum. And let's not forget about the other drivers on the bubble. One bad race, and they could be out of the playoffs entirely. And there you have it, folks. From Denny Hamlin's head-scratching strategy to Kyle Larson's playoff disaster, all the big moments and what's next for the drivers as the playoff battle heats up. So, what do you think? Is Denny Hamlin's conservative strategy gonna backfire? Will Kyle Larson pull off a comeback? And who's looking strong for the next round? Who's gonna crush it at Watkins Glen? It's about to get wild. Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's get this discussion rolling. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe for more interesting stories and updates from everything NASCAR. Do share this video with your friends. Until next time, keep the conversation going on Lucky Dog on Track.